Hey everybody, welcome to the J76 Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Jimmy Wild, and we got a couple of changes this week. So first of all, I'm running about 6 hours late to get started filming because I was building a new PC. I built it and I was setting it up, and I realized all of my Streamlabs and all of my recording, all of my Stream Deck stuff, all of it was all gone. So I had to reset some things up, but you know, it's all good. So I took the opportunity to make some silly changes. So we got a little thingy up top, and we're going to talk about quite a few things today. So boom, let's go ahead and get this up. So we're going to talk about some game news, as always. Console news, we got a little bit. Some hardware news. Actually, a lot of hardware news, I think. Some new game releases. I got a couple new games to add to the collection, and then we're going to talk about the Xbox and Bethesda news, the acquisition becoming final. So I got some thoughts on that, but yeah, we'll cover that. And yeah, and I'm also kind of going without a script today because writing a script takes a long time, and not that I read from the script, but I just have notes so I make sure to stay on task. But we're going to wing it today. We'll see how it goes. So let's go ahead and get started. Wait for this transition. Boom. Look at that. I love it. All right. So showcasing my website. If you have not been to j76gaming.net, go ahead and check it out. That is also where you will find the all of the notes and all of the links for each of the episodes. So you can see, so like last week's episode, go here, and all of the links are listed below. So you can go ahead and check that out. But for now, let's go ahead and get started with some game news. Oh, and I should have went there first because it wants my cookies. Okay. So I thought this was ridiculous, and I tried to find more news on it, and there's just not a ton. But apparently there's going to be a Legally Blonde video game. Free to play iOS and Android. So immediately I hate it because I don't like mobile games. But a Legally Blonde video game? Come on. We got to check that out at least a little bit. Next up. Boom. Square Enix presents on March 18th. That is, oh crap, when is that? Thursday. Yeah, so Thursday this week, we hopefully get some new news. One of the things I think they were planning on talking about, or at least I'm hearing rumbles, is the Life is Strange, like a new game announcement there. Yeah, here we go. We gotta look at Outriders. Ooh, Outriders is fun. I don't know anything about this. Tomb Raider. I love Tomb Raider. And apparently, yeah, we're in the 25th anniversary, but I don't know what the celebrations actually entails. Like, I've seen some extra, like, write-ups on Square Enix page, but I don't know. Anyway, yeah, there's lots of stuff in here, but yeah, so that'll be interesting on the 18th. And that's it for game news. There wasn't a ton of game stuff other than like the elephant in the room, the Xbox and Bethesda stuff. So we'll get to that later. But let's take a quick look at consoles real quick. I'm just using Brave. I'm not even using ad blocker. But I guess Brave is just an ad blocker in general. So anyways, PlayStation 5 is the fastest selling console in U.S. history. Well, yeah. Anyone that's tried to buy one of these knows that. But anyway, this is just kind of came out, the MPD Group monthly report, February 2021, and it was the fastest selling, actually, it was second and best selling, but the Switch sells more, but it sells for $200 less. So if you want to read more about that, once again, the link will be in the notes on my website. Yeah, so let's go ahead and move into some hardware news. And now this is interesting to me, kinda. So I love me some Samsung solid states, NVMe's, and regular SSDs as well, the SATA SSDs. But we have a new, what are they classified as, consumer class, I guess you will. These are non-pro, and they're kind of the replacement, I guess you could say, for the 970 Evo Pluses. So if you're looking for not super duper expensive, but still really good NVMe drive, these are coming out. Now, I will link also, I'll pull this up real quick, but there are some benchmarks that are starting to pop up. So, I mean, spoilers, they're awesome. But these are PCIe Gen 3s. So if you want the Gen 4, you got to go up to the 980 Pro. But you're looking to spend more money there, of course. So yeah, got that. And then let's kind of jump into some AMD news. So we have the AMD 6700 XT releasing, I think, on March 18th. And thankfully, we covered this last week, but thankfully we're going to have the review embargo lifts on the 17th or the day before. So we'll be able to see all the benchmarks before the purchase, or before they go live for sale. But there's some interesting, of course, there's always benchmark rumors, and it's like, it might be slower than the 3060 Ti, which is interesting because I thought that this was supposed to be the 1440p gaming card to challenge the 3070 from NVIDIA. So we'll see how it, we'll see how it actually turns out, of course, when the embargo lifts and we start to see some reviews. And we may have to live on those those review benchmarks, because supposedly, well, I'm hearing different things, right? So sometimes you're hearing that it's like, well, AMD is saying, oh, we got tons of cards, we got more. Okay. And then Europe has got this thing where, like, maybe there's not as many as that they were hoping. So I don't know what that means for Europe. I don't know if that means for North America, or I don't know what that means for anywhere else, but we're getting conflicting reports. So maybe Europe is getting screwed here and North America is getting more. I don't know. So we'll see. It will be interesting to see if these sell out in seconds or minutes. I have to think seconds, but we'll see. Well, actually, let me back that up a second. They will sell out in minutes because the heavy traffic will take the sites down, and they won't be able to sell out in seconds because the sites will be broken. But so there's that. Now this one is near and dear to me right now because my workstation rebuild is now featuring an AMD CPU. And now in my game machine, I didn't notice, or if it happened to me, I just didn't put two and two together that this was the USB issues that some people are saying is happening on AMD boards. But today, just preparing to film, and my USB cut out, and my camera, like, it was just like frozen. So that's going to be interesting to, we live on USB connections, it seems like. And, but yeah, so anyways, they think they found the root cause and that there will be fixes coming. So check your motherboard manufacturer websites to see when we're looking for a GISA 1.2.0.2 update. So, like, for example, I'm on a Gigabyte Aorus board, and so I'm going to be looking for, like, I think I've just installed F33C, like, that's the Aorus, that's the Gigabyte number, but then in the notes it'll say a GISA 1.2.0.2. So, like, whenever that comes out, look for a GISA 1.2.0.2. And then how many times am I going to say AGSA 1.2.0.2? Anyway, I will stop saying it. What else we got? Okay, so this is, I don't know, this is just one of those things. So if you are watching this as it debuts on Monday morning on the 15th, go ahead and afterwards check out the digital launch of the 3rd gen AMD Epyc processor. So that's going to be on, there's a link in here for the announcement. So yeah, I mean, I don't even know really what to expect. We're just, I mean, new Epyc processors, I bet they're awesome. So if you're interested in stuff like that, that'll be cool. Now this is interesting. Now this is really, really interesting to me because I think we're kind of turning the corner on some of the AMD Ryzen CPU availability. Now I've been watching it for the past week, and well, I've been watching it all the time, but over the past week or so, I've really, let's say 2 weeks actually, I've really seen CPUs in stock at AMD and places like Amazon. I even saw sellers on Amazon listing their 5800Xs for less than retail. So I mean, I've seen them as low, like I saw someone, because they're 449. I've seen them at 448.50, and I've seen them at 439. So I think it makes sense that these are going to stay in stock because, I mean, realistically, it's a great processor, but nobody wants it. Nobody wants to pay $440 or $450 for it because it is the most expensive per core CPU that AMD has right now. So if you look at the 5600, that's 6 cores and $300. That's $50 a core. If you look at the 5950X, 16 cores at $800, $50 a core. If you look at the 5900X, which is per core the best value, so that's 12 cores, so it should be $600 if it was $50 a core, but it's $550, so it's even a little bit less, right? But then you have the 5800X that if you go by the $50 a core, it would be $400, and this is at $450. So it really just doesn't make sense. It's the most expensive per core. So this is price. Once things start to normalize, this is going to level out at like $400, and that's going to be the sweet spot for those because they're not going to sell for, like, when you have your choice, they're not going to sell for $450. But yeah. So also supposedly AMD, and we've heard this from a few places, that AMD has said that they're going to try to keep refreshing the store stock every week, and I have definitely seen that. So like the 5800X has been in stock almost nonstop for the past week and a half. The 5600X, where is it? The 5600X has been in stock a lot of the time over the past week and a half. So that's pretty cool. I still have not seen any 6800s or 6800 XTs up here for sale though. But in theory, like I said, they're supposed to be dropping more every week, so maybe we'll get lucky. So, yeah, and then so let's go just real quick into NVIDIA. More rumors on the 3080 Ti. This time we're looking at 12 gig of RAM instead of 20, which I think is probably more reasonable. And like a 3080 Ti with 12 gig of RAM. I think almost a 3090 with a reasonable amount of RAM. I think this is the GPU to get if you're looking at 4K. So if I had not built a brand new game machine and spent all of that money and then got a 3080, I would be looking at the 3080 Ti for sure. But I'm broke, especially after doing the workstation rebuild. So we'll see if this actually happens, or if this is just another fake rumor. But I get the feeling that we're going to start to see these popping up. But once again, like, can NVIDIA actually get them to the stores? Now, I will say that last week, Friday, Best Buy had the motherload of GPUs. Like, I mean, they had Asus, like ROG Strix, they had EVGA, like XCs, and they had Founders Editions from 3060 all the way up to 3090. It was crazy. So, and you know, Best Buy has been doing really good. They've been dropping PS5s on Fridays for the past 3 weeks, I think, or maybe 3 out of 4 weeks. I'm not sure, but anyways, Best Buy is on Friday is starting to be a big deal for hardware. So, they also dropped AMD CPUs. So they had the full suite of the 5000 series. So yeah, go get them, Best Buy. All right, that's it for hardware news. So let's take a look at some game updates here. Now, this is a game I stopped playing because I didn't want my credit card to suffer anymore. But Genshin Impact has update 1.4, and that'll be coming out on March 17th. So that'll be Wednesday this week. So good stuff there. I won't go too much into what's in it, but it looks like some cool stuff. If you're interested in that game, check it out. Now, Borderlands actually has a delay. So due to the challenge in the weather in Texas, and since I am in Texas and I did not have power or heat or water or anything for a long time, and I nearly froze to death, I'm exaggerating, I didn't freeze to death. I wasn't even close. But it was freaking cold here. So the next expansion or the next DLC for Borderlands 3 is being delayed until April 8th. So that stinks, but it happens. Completely understand, because Austin and a lot of Texas shuts down when it rains. So when it gets wicked cold and there's snow and there's ice, it is just a disaster waiting to happen. And it happened. All right, so Outriders. Now, Outriders and People Can Fly, they continuously impress me because they're patching a demo. I mean, seriously, patching a demo. Get out of here. Who does that? But this is, I think, the third patch. I think it's the third patch. But anyway, so they added and it's all in response to player feedback. So that's amazing, right? We got a motion blur toggle, cut down the matchmaking time, and then other minor improvements. I love the minor improvements thing. But anyway, so yeah, so great stuff. PC specific patches or bug fixes. I mean, yeah, this is actually nice. The subtitle display in the Bad Day quest was pretty funny because the dialogue and the subtitles were way out of sync. But anyway, so if you like Outriders, that's good news. And if you haven't downloaded the demo yet, do it. It is awesome. Even if you only spend a couple hours playing it, it's free, and it's basically, I think, maybe 3 hours of the game, and you can do that on four different classes. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. So yeah, check it out. And Immortals, Fenyx Rising. Remember that game? Remember the game that immediately went on sale? Which is unfortunate, but it's getting a DLC in. Now, see, this is where I should have wrote down. Oh yeah, March 25th. So March 25th, we have Fenyx Rising DLC, and I actually bought that game. I have not installed it yet, but I will check it out at some point. All right, and I post this just to torment myself because every day of my life I want to go back and play Final Fantasy XI, but there is a new mini expansion to the Voracious Resurgence campaign or storyline that's happening. So we're in part 3. So yeah, if you're still or if you're thinking about going back to 11, or you're like, oh, what's happening in 11, go check it out. You may or may not see me in there. I hope that you don't see me in there, but who knows? It'll be one of those things. One day I'll be bored and I'll be like, Final Fantasy 11 time. All right. So a couple weeks ago, I got all hyped on Diablo 3, and I thought the season was ending, so I just crammed as much Diablo 3 as I could into one weekend, and then I realized that the season wasn't ending, but it is now, ending soon. So season 22, ending on March 28th, and yeah, so if there's still plenty of time, because what is this? It's going to be the 15th when this airs, so plenty of time to jump in and wrap up at least the first 4 acts of the season journey. Get yourself your armor, get yourself they call it, oh man, now I can't remember it, the portrait frame. Yeah, so there's that, and I think that was the last game update. Yeah, so that's it for game updates. Now, what do we got for upcoming releases? That is not my birthday, but that's okay. Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning is coming to the Switch on March 16th. So that's Tuesday this week. Good stuff. I love that game. I did not play it as much as I should have, but I do love it. Alright, we got a Monster Hunter Rise. And oh yeah, there it is, right at the front. I was like, where's the date? March 26th. So that's coming up in let's see, about 11 days. Releases. Okay, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. This is coming in March. I thought there was a date on this. I think it's coming soon. Oh yeah, here we go. March 26th. PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S and X. So good stuff. And now this one, I don't know. It's cranky pants to me, because anything about Epic Game Store makes me cranky. But Kingdom Hearts series is coming to PC and Epic Games. So if you like Kingdom Hearts and you don't mind supporting the Epic Game Store and their horrible exclusive game purchasing, then go ahead and check that out. And this one is kind of interesting to me, because I'm sure I've talked about the Atelier Ryzen 2 game that I've been playing and love it. So we have 3 of the older games are being re-released on PS4, Switch, and PC. So this one's a little ways out. I think it was April something, and I'm not going to be able to find it, I'm sure. But I want to say it's like April 22nd that this is coming out. But anyway, I'll talk about it more when it gets closer to the date, but I just got really excited when I saw that. So that is that's all the news. All right, before we get into the main topic, let's go real quick and we will talk about some collection updates. So there was a sale on Amazon, and I didn't need this game because I already have it, the digital version, but I like things to sit on the shelf. So I picked up Borderlands 3 Super Deluxe Edition. Now this was on Amazon for $20. And not only $20, but it's got the steelbook. Like, get out of here. $20. And last I checked, they were still on sale. So if you're looking for like a cool steelbook, go ahead and grab that. Now, what else? So I think it's NISA Online. They had a sale, and I picked up for $10 I actually don't even Rhodia, the Sky Soldier. Now this is a game that I actually am missing for my, or was missing for my Wii U collection. So that's pretty cool to get it for $10 in perfect shape. Another thing I picked up was Trials of Cold Steel 3 for Switch. Now, this was really cool because it came with a steelbook also. And I don't have a lot of Switch steelbooks, but I'll show you the back first. You know, pretty simple. Boom. But look at this front. How awesome is that? I mean, seriously, really cool. So I like that. And not only did it come with a steelbook, it came with a bag. It came with a tote bag. Whoop. So very cool. Yeah, because I had that game on my list, and I was like, I need to get it because I have the first two. I have the, like, one of the limited collectors, whatever editions, for 1 and 2, but I didn't have 3, so that was pretty cool. And yeah, I think that's it for collection update, other than the massive computer update, but yeah, so let's go ahead and switch back to the main topic. Let's go into Xbox and Bethesda, so I'll be right back. All right, for our main topic, let's go ahead and take a look at the Bethesda and Xbox. Once again, targeting, nope. Okay. Bethesda and Xbox. Yeah. So I, up until this announcement when they announced that they're going to do it, I was excited. I was like, well, all right, whatever, that's fine. As long as everything keeps coming to the PC, I don't care. Now, to be fair, I don't like exclusives. And I mean, I don't like third-party exclusives. So the idea of buying Bethesda to make them first-party exclusives kind of is like circumventing my rules about exclusives. So I'm a bit of a hypocrite in saying that I'm fine with it. But what changed, what makes me nervous, is a lot of the news that was coming out this past week and the wording, the way that they were talking about it. So they were really clear when it came to positive things like, oh yeah, we're going to honor the contracts that we have for all of the titles that are all over the different platforms. We're going to honor that. We love those communities. We love those gamers, blah, blah, blah. They're like, so yeah, and the exclusives that are going to be PlayStation exclusive, yep, we're going to honor that. That's fine. I'm like, okay, so that all starts out positive, and they're very specific. And then the tone changes, and they're like, well, what about the future games? Let's just pick Starfield, for example. Like, where is that? Like, is that going to be an exclusive to Xbox? Or what are you talking about? And that's when they start to get a little bit evasive. They're saying, yes, that it's probably going to be exclusive. And it's going to be exclusive to Xbox, PC, and be available on Game Pass. And so that's pretty cool. So I'm going to switch over to... here we go. Officially welcoming. Now, thank you, players. Yeah, I should have queued this up, but okay, here we go. So the way it came out, the way they were saying, I watched the roundtable on YouTube where they were talking about it, and they were saying, you know, that hey, these games are going to be available on platforms where Game Pass is available. I'm like, why do you have to call out Game Pass? What does that mean? Does that mean I need Game Pass in order to play these games? And that stresses me out because I love Game Pass, to be perfectly honest. I love it. I love it because there's great value. And I love it because it's optional. Now, if this becomes, I need Game Pass in order to play Starfield or the next Elder Scrolls game, I'm going to lose my mind. And that's where, so, okay. With addition to the Bethesda creative teams, gamers should know that Xbox, consoles, PC, and Game Pass will be the best place to experience new Bethesda games, including some new titles in the future that will be exclusive to Xbox and PC players. Okay. Why do you have to say Game Pass in there? That's what I don't get. Like, why do you have to say Game Pass? Now, if you want to say this will be exclusive to Xbox and PC, and it will be, hey, and good news, everybody, it'll be available on Game Pass also. That seems like a very definitive answer. This sounds like maybe you need Game Pass. Now, I don't really, like at first I thought for sure, like, oh, we're going to need Game Pass for this. But then I've been reading a ton about this, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm reading too much into this. But, like, is it really so far-fetched that in the future, like, you know, everyone, okay, so the big deal in gaming is, well, microtransactions, but forget about that for a second. But the big deal is like a live service. It is a continual service game that you keep buying into. And what's the next step in that? That's a Game Pass. That's where you have to subscribe to get the games. Now, is there a future where that is the only way to get games and you can't just go to Best Buy, or you can't just go to GameStop, or you can't go to Amazon and say, hey, give me this game and buy it and I want it? Like, that freaks me out, man. I don't want to live in that world. Like, I don't like it. So I really, really wish that they would have came out and said, for sure, these games will probably be exclusives to Xbox and PC, and they will also be available on Game Pass. When you lump them all together in one sentence, that freaks me out. So I will stop beating that dead horse. And let's go to, I don't know, something kind of positive. So speaking of Game Pass, now, by the time you're watching this, these will all be available, but like a ton of Bethesda games are on Game Pass now. So if you got that itch to, here we go. If you got that itch to play Oblivion, which I do, and I am refusing to install Oblivion because I want to go back, but I have it in my head that I shouldn't go back to Oblivion because I remember it as this amazing and wonderful game, and I want that to be my memory, and I don't want to go back and load it up now and go, look at those faces. You know what I'm talking about. Those face graphics were atrocious, but that's okay. On Xbox 360, I didn't care, you know. But anyway, so something I might go for is like the Dishonored series. I never played those. I'd love to. All the Doom stuff, I mean, that's fine. I played all those. Now Morrowind, I almost installed Morrowind, And then I looked, and I should mention that these games are enhanced, so they run at 4K, and they're slightly better than before. But I watched some video of Morrowind, and I was like, ugh, it's rough. But if you never got the chance to play Morrowind, or you want to go back and check it out, and you're a Game Pass subscriber, might as well. So then we got Oblivion, Skyrim. Oh, weird, Skyrim. Elder Scrolls Online. I did play that for a little while. It's fun enough, but it didn't really hold me. Fallout 4, Fallout 76. I can't believe that there are people that care about Fallout 76, because I played it for 10 minutes and I was like, this is the worst game in the history of the world. Fallout New Vegas, oh man, I actually installed it, and if I wasn't building this computer all day yesterday, or half the day yesterday, then I probably would have played some Fallout New Vegas. Prey, don't have any interest. Rage, no. The Wolfenstein stuff, not really. So, but anyway, that's a ton of games that just showed up on Game Pass, and like I said, Game Pass is a really great deal as long as it's optional. Yeah, it just got a lot better. So anyway, what else did I have in here? I thought this was funny. This is probably gonna give me a cookie warning also, but get out of here. I really like Paul Tassi. At Forbes, I think he's a pretty good reporter, and I generally tend to agree with a lot of the stuff that he says. But anyway, it's pretty funny. He's got this Microsoft stuns with reveal it bought Bethesda for Xbox Game Pass, and I just thought that was funny because he was just being sarcastic. But so that's a pretty cool article if you'd like to read that. And then The Verge has got this. This is just more I was reading about the Game Pass. Yeah. So here's the actual quote that really drives me crazy. Phil Spencer talking about Bethesda games. This is about delivering great exclusive games for you, Xbox customers, that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists. Stop saying Game Pass. Or make it clear. Why do you have to say it that way? The wording of it just drives me crazy. And I said I was going to stop complaining about that, but anyway, so that's some more information if you'd like to read more about it. But yeah, what do you guys think about Xbox and Bethesda? What do you think about exclusives? What do you think about, because like I said, I will openly talk about how much I hate Epic Games for buying exclusives, and this is kind of what Xbox did, so I'm kind of a hypocrite. But yeah, I don't know. What do y'all think? So anyway, and do you think I'm crazy? Do you think that I'm reading way too much into this about the whole Game Pass potentially being required? So let me know what you think. And yeah, I think I'm going to call it for this week's episode, and I will talk to you next week.